I Want to Jump Like Dee Dee, with me, Giles Sibbald, is the music podcast that does music a bit differently. I'm talking to some incredible musicians, DJs and producers about how they use an experimental mindset to fuel their own creativity, pursue new challenges, overcome fears, bounce back from mistakes. So over to Austin, Texas today, and BLXPLTN, for me, are without doubt one of the most ferocious, important acts around. Use drums, synths, and create this sort of visceral, tense, melodic electro-punk. For me, in terms of experimentation, this is kind of what they embody. The music really, sort of challenges you to, to immerse yourself into the, sort of stream of consciousness. And I'm beyond happy to be with TaSz Muerte, BLXPLTN's founder, to talk about experimenting, mindset, and kind of whatever else comes up along the way. So, hi TaSz, how are you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Good, all good. No, we last saw each other. When was it? It was about a year, last September, sort of before all the sort of shit kicked off.
Yeah.
When you're over in London with Pleasure Venom.
Right.
So what's been happening kind of since then?
Since then, I've just been trying to stay alive and not die from COVID, pretty much locking myself in the studio, making music, just staying sober, getting in touch with myself, So that's been a good opportunity, I guess, making the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah. Like for me, you and BLXPLTN have, like I said a minute ago, really kind of embody an experimental mindset. And I'm just interested, just sort of start off. What how did that sort of come about? What are your sort of formative influences that sort of influence your mindset and your ability to really kind of continue creating exciting, different things?
Well, I mean, when we started the band, I found the band with Coppie, was in the OG BLXPLTN.
Yeah.
And Coppie was probably the most punk person out of the band. I would as far as background wise. She's really into punk and metal too, Caribbean, salsa music, hip hop. And she actually, when I was in a hip hop band called Beta Player, I was a live drummer for that band.
Yeah.
And I used to wear this mask tied around my face because at the time I was a felony fugitive and I couldn't have my face on the internet. And when I finally got caught, Coppie became the drummer for that band while I went and did an unpaid vacation for Bexar County Correctional Facility.
Yeah.
And when I got back, it did her kind of wrong and basically kicked her out of the band. It was in a really ugly way after she had held it down for a while. And so me and her, I shortly got kicked out after that. So me and her would just experiment. I had this little Fisher Price drum machine, and we would just chill and get wasted and experiment with our different influences,
Yeah.
And pretty much she was like, that sounds cool. I was like, yeah, I don't have a real drum machine. She's like, oh, I got one. I got an SPDSX. And that's how it started. And I think because we had this hip hop background, we just know in hip hop, you can use anything, to make a song. You can sample records, you can use drum machines, you can use live instruments. So I think us both having that background in hip hop, we were willing to experiment, with anything to get what we wanted,
How did that sort of continue into your, the way that you wrote and, kind of with your songwriting, with the way that you kind of, you know, sort of approach life and stuff like that?
How did I go into? These are hard questions.
I know.
I didn't smoke any weed today. I don't know, man. You know, I'm
Is it
not.
kind of like?
Huh?
Is it like natural? Is it this is just your natural? This is just the natural you. You just kind of create. You just love that kind of mindset.
Yeah, I'm just a weird individual, I think, in a way. I think like I don't have any like I'm not classically trained or trained to play any. I can play a guitar, but I couldn't tell you what note I'm
The
playing.
nose, yeah.
Learned how to play by ear. I never could afford lessons, barely an instrument. So I pick up a lesson here and there. So basically experimenting to me is just trying and trying and trying until you come up with something good. It's basically has always been, you know, my way of creating, you know, whether drawing, you know, or painting or making music or whatever. It's always been like, if just keep throwing it away until you come up with something cool, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, I'm not like one of those people who can like sit down at a piano and because they know it inside and out, they're like, oh, I'm experimenting. I'm going to play this note with what I'm not supposed to do with this. You know, they're being cognizant of what they're doing, you know, and to me, it's just like, that sounds cool.
I guess that's a good point, that, isn't it? You know, because I mean, like when I was a kid, you know, I played the cello, right? And I was trained in it. And in a way, I haven't played it for, well, actually, no, I did. I did go back after not playing it for 30 years. I went back into a music store and just sort of like, because I was just so interested in picking it up and seeing if I could still do it. But in a way, when you're trained, it kind of gives you a framework, which sometimes you get scared to sort of step outside that, because that's kind of what you've learned.
Right.
Which sometimes, you know, can maybe sort of, I don't know, kind of constrain you in some ways.
I think so, because like I know some people who have like all kinds of training, and then when you try to explain something that's different, they can't even understand. Like, well, that just doesn't make sense to me. You know?
Yeah.
And then when you listen to their music, it sounds like that. It sounds very like in the box, you know, like most of it's like not even good, but most of the time it just sounds like confined, you know, rules, you know. And I think everyone that I look up to, as far as like a lot of creators, like they basically just kind of winged it themselves, you know, and came up with something cool, and that's what makes it cool, you know.
Do you find that I mean, with that sort of approach, you know, how do you feel like, you know, when you try things and it doesn't work, which is exactly the point of kind of experimenting. You know, you go back to the drawing board and you have to sort of start again. I mean, how is that frustrating? Do you get pissed off with it all the time?
Man. Hell yeah, I get pissed off. You know, you go into this thing, I don't know, some people like legitimate, no, I don't want to say legitimate, but like trained musicians, you know, who can read music. I guess them having writer's block is different to someone, is a different kind than someone who's not trained or can't read music. You know, it's like, it's heavy, man. It's you know, I've broken things through things and shit, like being frustrated. And a lot of times, you know, I'll get on myself. It's like, it's because you don't have this foundation, because you don't know, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is like, YouTube is for free. I mean, you know, you can find out anything you need to know. And sometimes I'll just humble myself and go and take a lesson really quickly. You know what I mean? It's something, what I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just opens up like a whole new world of what I'm trying to do, you know? But yeah, it gets frustrating, but that's just, I try to tell people when they first get into music, or like I tell my kids, or someone doing some art or something, especially music, is just like, dude, you're gonna make so much shitty shit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
before you find something that you're confident or someone thinks is cool. And a lot of times people don't even know what cool is, you know, like they need you to show them, and you just don't give up, you know. Most of the times when I'm creating something, if I don't feel like, if it's kind of like, it's kind of like surfing, you know what I mean? You have like, you're bored in the water and you're wading and shit, and it's like there's nothing going on, but you're gonna move to an area where you can catch a wave. I do the same thing like with music. Like if I don't feel something like within the first 5 minutes and it's not working, I pretty much just fucking delete file.
Just delete and start again.
New, you know, or if I like, sometimes it could just be one good sound that's like screeching sound. I'm like, that's a good fucking sound. I'll save, and then I'll put it away and then start a new file, you know? And sometimes I'll come back like weeks later and I'm like, just coming there feeling myself that day, like, oh yeah, that's dope. And I'll just lay down a drum track and it just comes together. But you know, just don't waste your time on something too long that you're not really feeling, you know?
Well, you're not really sort of feeling it, yeah. How do you sort of write with Jeremy? Do you do things separately, or are you kind of together when I say together, but you know, kind of remotely together? But is it a joint process or?
I don't think I've ever have written a song with him. Well, that's just being together, you know? Like when we would jam, I mean, post Corona, I mean, well, during this virus thing, this pandemic, you know, making music and jamming is really difficult to do. So it's like more like email type thing, you know? But before that, we never really, if we're hanging out, right, creating, if we're playing music at the same time, like at the studio, we're just playing just to play. We never really said like, oh, let's use this, you know, because we're just friends. We just like to play music. Usually when it's something that we want to put out, like we're like, let's make a song, you know, would email me a beat or vice versa, you know, like, what do you think about this? And then we just start adding on and shit, you know? Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. No, it did. Yeah. We got there.
We just
10 out of 10 for that one.
We just like to hang out and play music. Most of the time when if like, the reason why I think is because like maybe when we jam, it's probably like something like no one would buy, you know, like we just end up making like a lot of noise. You know? We just want to turn everything up and like make 13-minute like jam, you know, jam sessions and shit at a time. So, that's why we never really keep anything from that.
How do you feel about collaborations? Because I think you know, this year or last year, 2020. I mean, maybe this was it was because of COVID, but there were a lot of collaborations going on. I mean, I remember. I mean, the thing, you know, two that really sort of stick out for me. I mean, I think that, you know, Public Enemy's latest was full of collaborations, and also Sleaford Mods as well. They've done, you know, had some collaborations on their recent album, which, you know, work really, really well for me. Now, I mean, they can be risky, right? You know, I mean, some of those just don't work out, but when they do work, I just sort of feel that, you know, there are more kind of collaborations happening these days. How do you feel about those?
I think they're great, especially Sleaford Mods, man. I haven't had a chance to listen to their new album, but like I love their stuff. But I think collabs are great. The thing that kind of bothers me though, like during the pandemic, is just like seeing people just working together just to work together,
just for the sake of it.
It's like, good, you know, like you haven't seen me put out anything like this whole time, you know. Or I have done some collaborations though. I'm currently collaborating right now.
Okay.
You know, but It's not going to be released like how you see all these other acts, other bands releasing this stuff. Just like, okay, we did a thing, here it is, you know. We're going all the way with it, and I just feel like there's just a time. I work way too hard on music and put like everything into it for me to just throw it out into
just to
the
sort of
internet.
waste it to anything.
Yeah, it has to be perfect, you know. It's something I really care about, and I'm not one of those people that's going to do collabs or just do recordings and like put them out on the web just for the sake of saying that I'm working and doing something, you know. Like, I'm always fucking working, you know.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I've really sort of felt, you know, that there's so much kind of competition, you know, and not healthy competition. And
Right.
you know, we can argue the toss whether it's sort of social media that sort of drives this, but it seems that I mean, I think it does, but everybody seems to be trying so hard to sort of stand out in some way. You know, maybe kind of collabs or something, you know, to say, yeah, like you say, to say, yeah, look at me, I'm working, I'm kind of doing stuff, and you know, okay, great. But the kind of stuff that when people try to distinguish themselves, I don't know, in a way, like a lot of the time, it doesn't seem to be really breaking any new ground. It's just sort of variations on a theme. So even people think that they're doing something different, it's still within kind of confines, and they're not really doing that much that's kind of different.
Right.
I mean, it seems that, I mean, to really differentiate yourself, I mean, it seems that it's very hard these days.
Yeah, it's really hard, and you know, it's kind of disheartening too. And I just see like I see a lot of copying too. Like, if was like saying anything, like a lot of copying music, copying videos. Like, I don't know that. I mean, people have always done that, but I mean, since this whole thing has gone down, I've seen like a lot of bad work and a lot of copy. You know, I think collabs are great. I just think like you should be. I think collabs is like a really great thing when two artists come together, but it should just be so awesome when the two worlds meet, you know, just like you said, it just shouldn't be like some everyday shit, you know. I'm collabing, if you want to talk about that, something positive.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. That's always going to be a positive.
I don't want to just be saying shit to people, but
that was such a cool segue into it. Go
on. I'm just trying to keep it 100, man. You know what I mean? Like, so sick of people just trying to be nice and be cool for the sake of it. But
yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of. I mean, you've done some solo work as well.
Yeah.
You know, which is very different to musically in style to sort of blaxploitation. You know, which again to me, you know, sort of shows your kind of open-mindedness and willingness to, you know, to adopt and accommodate different influences and sort of genres and really kind of but to put your own mark on it.
Yeah.
Good. We nailed that one.
No, I mean, you're talking about the boy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I collabed with Elliot from Ringo, Death Star. Basically took the ideas I had and we went over them, and he had played some guitar and stuff, and we just traded a bunch of ideas. Right now I'm working with Alton Jenkins from Future Death. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah.
And I have to say that is probably the best work I've ever done. Ever been involved in. I'm gonna say it now.
Yeah.
Not out yet, but it will be.
But like, it will be. And
we're recording right now, and I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
What is, I mean, without giving anything too much away, but what makes you say that? What was it that made it so awesome? Is it the the whole kind of collab, it's just the collab itself?
Well, I think everyone that I've worked with in blaxploitation, I'll start by saying first, I think are great musicians. You know what I'm saying? Better than I am, I think, definitely. As far as like playing instruments, you know? And I learned a lot from them. And then with this new thing that I'm doing, like, these are like some high level musicians, you know, that are just on a different wave, man, you know?
Yeah.
When you talk about outside the box, this is, I mean, I can't explain it. It's like perfect chaos, you know? I never played with anybody that could make sense of like chaos, you know? And that's pretty much what I've been looking for a long time. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but
yeah.
I listen to a lot of stuff like that, and I don't ever know, like, I can't figure out how they do it, you know? But now it seems like I've gotten with a group of people that know how to make that kind of sound, you know?
Yeah,
and
to really kind of like create something like amazing within this kind of chaos.
Yeah, I just like everything turned up, man, you know? Turned up loud. I don't like anything that makes you like, you know, like, dude, like, I'm too old for that shit, man. You know, I'm fucking married. I have kids. Like, I'm not trying to get a girlfriend or any fucking thing. You know,
yeah.
I'm like pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm interested in is just fucking.
It's interesting you say that. You know, about that you mentioned about you know, getting older. You know, because I think for lots of people, you know, across different walks of life, you know, their kind of default almost as they get older is to play things safer. You know, the sort of the risk taking or the appetite to take risks kind of diminishes. You know, so like, okay, well, I've done this. This is okay. I'll just kind of play it safe. But that's not happening for you.
No, it's not me, man. I mean, I'm not gonna give any names up, but I had an opportunity once to play in like a band, like a pop kind of band. And like it was, I remember I was playing the drums and I just kept drinking during the session because I just couldn't believe like what I was doing, you know? It's like those movies where someone has to get wasted to go whack somebody and shit, you know? Like it was like that. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And like I already knew like the shit was gonna be like huge, you know what I'm saying? I already knew. But I was just like, I can't fucking do this.
I can't do,
you know, like I just can't, because like, first of all, I mean, I don't want to get petty or anything. I just knew like, and when you're in that world, it gets to a point where like your thoughts and your music just becomes expendable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just value myself and my mind and like my creativity like way too much. And I have 3 sons, you know, and like always tell them they can do whatever they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody or themselves. And like I always think of that as like being an example. Like I just when they get older and they go over like my catalog, I don't want them to like go like, you were doing this here and then you did this. Look at that, you know, what happened here? Like I don't want any of that shit, you know. Like I want my grandkids to be like, yo, my fucking pawpaw like put it down his whole life,
his whole life, yeah,
like hardcore fucking shit. Like that's just me, you know.
Yeah.
I like pop music. There's stuff that I listen to pop music. I like pretty songs and stuff. Just not. I just don't make them. You know,
you just don't want to play them.
I don't want to play them. You know, like I'll even make that for someone else. Like if they want a beat or some shit, as far as me being an active member, it doesn't make me happy, you know.
I guess there's a lot of artists, you know, that have been around a long time that, you know, just sort of feed off the past, you know, kind of successes, and it's a formula that's kind of worked for them in the past, and it's like, okay, well, this is what we can do. This works. Let's just sort of carry on. I mean, to me, you know, that sounds like a kind of slow death. You know, just you know, for the audience, you know, for the people that are paying to watch that, as well as the, you know, your kind of creativity. I mean, there's nothing there. It becomes lumpy and sort of stayed. You know, the whole kind of like way to kind of create. I mean, do you is one of the keys for you sort of surrounding yourself by, you know, with the right sort of people, you know, that are, you know, that you can kind of feed off them almost?
Yeah, here's my dog. Yeah, surround myself with dog. There's something deep, man. Yeah, I do, man. I just surround myself with people who fucking like loud music and aren't worried about being cool and shit, you know. I started following, let me see for reference really quickly. I started on Instagram. There's this group called, you probably follow them, Cult Nation, CVLT Nation.
Don't know them, no.
Okay, well, you should check them out, but it's not a music. They're not music. It's not a band. It's like this. They just show like heavy music and noise and stuff like that. It's like this new thing, and they're small. And I've discovered like so many good bands and like-minded people that like it's all I look at now for references and for inspiration, and because I thought, you know, people like me were a rarity, you know. Now that I found, it's like I found like my tribe, you know what I mean? These are the kind of friends I have here, and that I just stick around with. Like they don't, you know, they're not scenesters or anything like that. It's just am I answering this question?
You are. No, absolutely. Yeah, it's about kind of surrounding yourself with the right people, and it's you know, you've kind of found them, and I guess that's the kind of the beauty now. You can kind of find these kind of networks.
Well,
it might take a bit of time to hunt them down, but you get there.
Yeah, Austin, it's kind of hard because everyone here is just psych music. That's all they fucking want to hear. Psych music, psych, you know? And if it's not psych, it's just like some kind of butt rock thing. I don't know. You know, like a punk, of course you have Pleasure Venom. You know, like sister band. I surround myself around people like that. You have Pussy Gillette, Bond Breaker, Dregs. These are all fronted by Black women too, by the way. These bands, you know what I mean? These are the people I try to pay attention to. Zetas, also fronted by a woman, but Kana. I think you may be familiar with them. But these are the people I like to be around. These are the people I'm influenced by. This is the kind of music that I want to hear. Anything else, I just fucking, it's just, if it's not really, really good, I just think it's trash. I just can't, I don't listen to it. Like sometimes people, it does. It really fucks me up, man. Sometimes like someone will say, did you see this that so-and-so made? It's terrible. And I'm like, why do I want to look at it? I'm in my lab, you know what I'm saying, trying to make some fucking real shit here. Why do I want to listen to that? Why do I want to see it? Why do I want to like let that in my, you know, I was watching this interview by Yasim Bey, And as I was going through my sobriety, of course, I'm on the green program. You know, I still use the herb. You know,
Yeah.
use the herb. The getting sober from alcohol and other things and stuff like that. Like, I sought out a bunch of people that I looked up to and the way they would look at things and explain things. And I saw Yusin say something about like you have two different kinds of diets. You know, you have one like you watch what you eat and you exercise and shit, and then there's like another thing where like what you take in through your eyes, you know, and through your ears, and like having your mind and your brain healthy. You know what I'm saying? And I found out like when I was drinking a lot and stuff like that, well, my mental health was shit, you know. And I noticed I was taking in a lot of shit, you know, a lot of things that didn't make me happy, you know. And it affected my creativity. Because so like now, like I take that very seriously. When I hear things as the shit, I just turn it off. Because whether I like it or not, or whether I know or not, it's affecting me. Like, you know, it's affecting like my mental health and my creativity. So
I think I mean, I think some of those kind of inputs that you get, I mean, they cause, you know, one of the emotions you get is, well, there's something that I've had is fear. You know, you get this kind of fear. It's like, okay, what if, and you know, you kind of make mistakes, and then it creates this kind of negative, you know, sort of energy around yourself. And I don't know. I mean, I think you know, trying for me, like trying not to get too hung up on, you know, what the outcome's going to be, and you know, kind of focusing on the actual doing, you know, helps you kind of overcome, you know, some of those fears that you get. That's certainly, you know, sort of helped me, you know, and learn from your mistakes. But you know, kind of trying to avoid taking in those kind of negative kind of things coming into your life. Yeah, definitely need to lose those.
Yeah, definitely. Negative things and bad music. No, seriously, man, some people like, I was at a point to where I guess my addiction, you know, I didn't give a shit where I was, you know, as long as what was there that I needed, you know, then I would be there. So like I'd sit in the middle of fucking, you know, like a whack ass EDM situation. If I knew if what I was looking for was gonna be there, then there was alcohol there, you know. And then meanwhile, I'm like taking in all this music that is like just terrible, you know. And I would notice like when it came time for me to go and create something, that's all I could think of was like some stupid beat or a song or something in my head. It was like affecting like what I do, you know. Not to say I don't like I love electronic music, you know. It's just there's a certain kind that
you like, and a certain kind that you don't like.
But yeah, just taking things in, man. Like you would be surprised like how much things affect you in your creativity, man. You know, people, same with people, man, you know.
Yeah, there's only so much that your kind of experimental mindset can take, and then it's like, okay, no, I need to kind of move on from this. Well, listen, TaSz, thanks very much. I think that's been fantastic. It's been really, really kind of great to talk to you. Really, and great to see you. Great to see you again.
We're done already?
We're done.
Oh man, I miss you, man. Talk all fucking day.
We could talk all day for sure. We'll do it again sometime, and when, you know, we're going to make sure that we get over to Austin and hang out as soon as we can.
Cool, man. All right, man. Tell everybody what's up.
Yeah, lovely. Great to see you, TaSz. Take care of yourself.
You too, brother.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. and I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll tune in for the next episode. In the meantime, it would be really awesome if you could rate and review the show and also share it with any friends who you think might enjoy it.